Okay, we are back with Zero Escape, 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. I am about to execute one of the endings, and I just have to, I believe, select door number 6 in this case. And we'll see where that gets us.
I want to go through door 6.
Junpei flipped open the piece of paper. Read Junpei door 6. Of course he did. He'd written it.
Problem.
June spoke barely above a whisper, but they all knew what she said.
Through the doors they want.
Clover and I chose door 1.
Lotus and I chose door 2.
That's not enough people to open a numbered door, however.
The digital routes don't match up either.
We've got similar problems. Junpei and I want to go through door 6. But our digital route is 5. If we're gonna open that door, we need a 1.
Damn, what are we gonna do now?
What are we going to do?
I'm not gonna bother reading this out because I've read this out in the previous time that we played through this.
What about me?
Isn't that obvious? Wasn't one of the teams just complaining that they didn't have a 1?
You mean I should join Santa's team?
Yes.
Huh. I understand. I'll go through door 6 then. If we do as Clover has suggested, we can all pass through a numbered door and no one will be left behind. This seems to be the most reasonable solution.
7, Lotus. What do you guys think?
I don't have a problem with it.
Me either.
Alright then, we're good to go.
See you later.
Wait, Clover! Don't move on your own!
Oh, I'll be going too then.
Yeah, be careful.
We should get going as well. This is E-Deck.
There should be a door.
Actually, I don't want to run through the puzzle again, so. We'll just skip through this and then. Chain collapses. And we have to see the way out. I'm just going to jump past this because we've already solved this one. And as I recall correctly, in the original game on the DS, you did not have access to the flowchart. So you would literally have to play through all of these things again. And I'm like, no, let's not do that. Let's see. doing all this. I hope this works. Where are we at? Okay. Let me go ahead and start this one over again without speeding through. Look
She's
around.
not here.
No, she isn't.
They searched a little longer, but with no luck, they could not find Clover.
There's no sign of her. Let's go.
Slowly, they made their way back to the hallway. Last, they reached the stairs and
All right.
Junpei spoke.
I'm thinking we should probably split up. I'll head back to the stairs and take the elevator down to E deck. June, you can take the stairs up to B deck.
All right, that sounds good. But,
Alright. But,
What?
could you stop calling me by that code name when we're alone?
okay.
Huh? Sure, right. I'll do that.
Was the reason Junpei persisted in calling her June even when they were alone? There was, and what was that reason? Well, perhaps not the best reason. He was embarrassed to call her by a nickname he'd used when they were children, Connie. 9 years ago, it came naturally after all they were children, but now that they were adults, it felt strange. Regardless of what he might hope for, to call a woman he wasn't dating by such a childish nickname felt odd to him. Of course, to call her Miss Kurashiki would be even more awkward, and simply Kurashiki would seem a little brusque. Although he couldn't put a finger on why, it felt somewhat forward to call her Akane when they hadn't seen one another in so long. In short, it was simply easier for him to call her June and leave it at that.
Jumpy.
No, it's nothing.
All right, I'm going then.
Alright.
Yeah, be careful, Connie.
You be careful too, Jumpy.
Blushed and smiled. One second.
Yeah, got it. Take care.
Junpei looked after her for a moment as she ran up the stairs and then turned around and took off the hallway. Tragedy always strikes when one least expects it, but to wait for a man to stand before striking him down seems almost crueler than dealing the fatal blow while he lies on the ground. A light in a dark place, June's smile had given him hope, both for escape and possibly something else. It was hope that raised his spirits just enough that they might soon be fully dashed. He opened the elevator door, and there she was. A woman sat slouched against the wall, Lotus. Junpei felt his blood turn to ice. Her body was limp, and her skin smooth and as pale as always. Was covered in bright red blood. Junpei felt his chest constrict. He couldn't breathe, and his legs began to shake. A slow, cold drop of sweat trickled down his back. He felt his stomach somersault. Junpei's mind went blank. All his thoughts replaced with endless, hissing white. Driven by little more than instinct, he began to walk toward Lotus slowly. Each slow movement of his stiff limbs brought him closer to her corpse. Finally, he stood next to her. Robotically, he bent down and put his hand against her neck. There was no pulse, no rise and fall of breathing. She was slightly warm. Something, somewhere in Junpei's shaken mind, told him that meant she had been killed recently. Yes, Junpei thought, his mind slowly returning. She had been killed. Someone had killed her. There was a deep cut on the left side of her chest. Blood still oozing from it, although clearly her heart had stopped beating some time ago. The weapon had been a knife, then? Perhaps she had been stabbed in the heart once. Someone would have died immediately. He took little comfort from knowing she must have suffered very little. Only then did Junpei notice Lotus's bracelet was gone.
Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so. 1. You escape from this ship. 2. Your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship, or the backside of the Nary's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically.
Was that why the killer had ended Lotus's life? So they might have the number 8 bracelet? If that was true, then the killer was whoever wanted the number 8 bracelet. Or perhaps more accurately, the person who would gain the most by obtaining the bracelet number 8. Who is that? Who would benefit the most from the number 8 bracelet? Thought had only just entered Junpei's mind when he heard a noise, a sound like a sharp knife cutting through wet meat. It struck him as strange that the noise came from inside his own body. A moment later, the pain hit him. It wasn't merely pain, there was heat, extreme heat as well. He felt as though molten iron had been splashed against the inside of his body. Finally, his brain made the connection. He had been stabbed, but where? His body was quickly going numb. He couldn't tell where the knife had met his flesh. Given the circumstances, however, he had most likely been stabbed in the back. Whoever had killed Lotus had now done the same to Junpei as well. His voice was little more than a weak groan. With what little strength he had left, Junpei turned his body, trying to catch a glimpse of the attacker. As he did, the knife dug itself deeper, twisting viciously. He collapsed to the floor, a puppet with its strings cut. His arms and legs lay where they fell, oddly twisted and awkwardly positioned. Junpei's body was entirely numb. He could feel the blood leaking out of him, but nothing would move. Nothing save his eyes. As he lay on the floor, his life ebbing away, Junpei finally saw his attacker. 2 tiny images of the killer reflected in his eyes. With that recognition came nothing. He felt no anger, no emotions, not anger, not sadness, not regret. Paralysis that had claimed his body had reached his mind. This killer glanced down at his body. Then without a word climbed into the elevator and was gone. His eyesight began to fade, the world grew blurry, began to dissolve into an empty white fog. The fog crept into the edges of his mind and worked inexorably inward. Soon it swallowed up the last that remained of Junpei's mind, and his consciousness left him. There was nothing more. Into utter emptiness he fell. He fell into 0. Whatever Junpei had been was gone. Oh, yeah. No duh. Bad ending. Cut and run is the ending I got. Alright. Yes, I would like to save. Alright. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and stop here, and then I think we have one more to go through, and then we should be able to see the true ending. Alright, see you all next time. Bye.